Guys, Shark Stream here bringing another video. We have some Pokemon news to go over, so we're going to get right into it. So we had this image that makes games sent on Twitter. He said apparent leaks of the new Pokemon Switch game going around here. Here's one of them. Looks like E3 demo. Now, this picture, Ruffle Rowlet talked about this, and he simply said it just the angle is off, and I can see why people say that also on his Twitter page as well. Like the angle is not it's just a little off, but you can also see like a Detective Pikachu sign here, the Ninetales, the Umbreon here in the alleyway, and there's the trainer. If I can look that up close. There's a trainer, Ninetales, the Umbreon. And then there's the health bar. Now, level 50, I mean, honestly, this looks like something they took from a game. Or they just used an Unreal Engine, made it look, photoshopped it, and then made it look like this with an environment in the background. This would be something I would be glad with as a Pokemon game, but we have no solid evidence on it, so I'm just going to say it's fake for now. I mean, we have no solid evidence. Everyone's saying it's fake, so we're just going to go with that same instance. We're going to take this with a grain of salt, obviously. Like I said, it looks good, but it's too off. But the edges here, Ruffle Rowlet, he thought they were like not the right edges on the Switch. He looked later at his Switch and he said, yeah, there are edges there, those deep edges there, they're there, but they're not as deep as the one in the image. So we're gonna pre-assume that this is fake and leave it at that, because even though we don't have any solid evidence to say it's actually fake, but I mean this people would just come up with anything, and I don't believe this whatsoever. It's too easy. It's too easy to make that. It's just too easy. It's positioned too weird. Like I don't know how to explain it, but as you can see down here, he talked about it down here some. Let's see. Feeling very uncertain. Most likely, UI seems to be kind of misplaced, but just might be the angle of the image, which that could have been too, but those just seem unrealistic. It seemed like a major jump from graphics from cartoony to hyper realistic, which isn't a bad thing. Like the Unreal Engine has been seen to do that jump before in graphics, in which the Pokemon Switch game is going to be made in Unreal Engine. We saw that tweet from before from Creatures Inc. that showed us that. So he didn't see the Pikachu sign up there at first, and then Sleepy Dogs is supposed to be the game where they got the graphics from and the actual placement from, and then there was a remastered version of it on PS4, so that's where mostly. And then these are the models from Pokken Tournament for Umbreon and Ninetales. So as you can see, even in Pokken Tournament, they still stick to their cartoony type Umbreon and Ninetales, versus this image up here, which is like really real. If you understand what I'm saying, it's not really cartoony style real. It's kind of like a jump into new realistic Pokemon, which Pokemon tries to stick to their cartoonish character style models and try to make it real through that way, versus just jump to real models of almost realistic type Pokemon models. Even here on the not this one, but here, this one, like Crimson Crimson X, he does these models and stuff. He did some tests on as you can see, the Deoxys and the Groudon. They still, even though they're in like and the Gyarados even here. Even though they're in Unreal Engine, the Cerebi, the Mew, even though they're in Unreal Engine, the Latios, the Rayquaza here, the even the Latios, they look good. You know, they're still, you know, HD Pokemon. It's just that they're sticking to their cartoony roots. Even with his tests, they sticking to the cartoony roots, cartoonish looking roots. Here, Incineroar sticks to the cartoon type Sun and Moon roots in the Salazzle here. I mean, you can see it. I mean, look at this. It moves like it. I mean, it's still stick. Now the fire around his belt looks a little more realistic than the actual games because, you know, it's just showing a bump up in graphics. It's not too off from the original of what Incineroar is supposed to look like, and you know, here you can see they do the same thing. They just stick to the original models and just make them HD, which I expect out of a Pokemon game. Not too much off from what the original. Look, Rayquaza swings around more fluent. You know, I mean, I love Dragon types, so this just that's just cool. Like there, like so yeah, this is fine with me for Pokemon. If they want to do HD Pokemon, that's good enough for me. I don't need to have like a super realistic type Rayquaza that almost looks like it's from real life or something like that. That's what that image goes for. We also have some battle tests here of what the battle system could somewhat look like in Unreal Engine in HD type Pokemon game. You just fire at the enemy, you choose Fly, Withdraw, Hydro Pump, Skull Bash, have all these here on the side, and then have the actual like models, you know, fire and blast at each other. I think like at one point he moved over like so he can miss his attack or something like that. I don't know where it's at. Oh, it's coming up. It's coming up. See? No. See, like he getting his shell to withdraw. Like this is a cool way. Like Rafael Porto, he did this video on it, like showing the super effectiveness and all that stuff. I don't know where the blast. I think he moved over at one point to try to CP, but I don't know where it is. Like that's really cool. Like I like this. Like this is like run up to him to scratch him and stuff. Like that's really cool. I like the way he did this. This makes a lot of sense. Like I can agree with this on a battle system. Like it takes the original and put a spin on it a bit. Like, but it's not too bad. Cause like when we ever like scratched and stuff, we never really were able to walk up and actually scratch them. I mean, besides in you know, XD Gala Darkness and stuff like that in those type games, but Battle Revolution really looks good. Really looks good. So like that, this could take on that style and then lead upon it. Like you go closer to scratch, or you hit from afar to do flamethrower or something like that. Like that's cool to me. Then he did another test here with the Umbreon and the Espeon, and this shows you their like hair on the Pokemon itself. If you can see those little hairs on it, it makes it look more realistic. But as you can see from the front of them, let me see if I can get a close-up look at from the front of Espeon here. You can still see that it sticks to its cartoony roots. Like this one's a little bit more realistic looking, but you can see that the Espeon here is still sticking to its cartoony roots a bit. It's not too far off, but it does show the hair. I mean, but let's look at this though. From this instant though, we have the Pokken tournament trailer, right? Now, Varsify talked about this. Now, the graphics could look like this. He just jumps out the little thing here of the Pokemon yellow, and then Pikachu walks around. This is the trailer for Pokken Tournament. Really, before it was really called Pokken Tournament, really. It was just showing you there the of what it could somewhat look like. Going around different games showing, and then I think like one is that it does show like on the screen like different games of what's to come, and then they have the little thing at the end here. They show you X and Y are there on the screen there. This was gonna move out of the way, but X and Y is there, and then the date, and then they have the, as you can see right there, X and Y down there, and then they have the battle between Blaziken and Lucario. That was the first instance of Pokken tournament, and then they have it here in this interview, and then the Nintendo Life says, "Okay, fantastic. I'm sure the fans are pleased about the access to our friends Pokemon Bank account, easily trading. One final question: we spotted this certain video on the internet from an event in Japan showing a short clip of Lucario fighting Blaziken. Especially look like Wii U graphics, and just Nichi Basuto, he said, "Oh, I was wondering what that was," and laughs it off. And then they said, "No, go on." And then he says, well, it was just a thing they showed to show the history of Pokemon," which it did show the history of Pokemon, but it was basically showing the future of what basically what the future of Pokemon may look like. And he said that very peculiar like. So think about that. Just think about that. And then we could, so basically we're looking at something like Pokken tournament wise, or something like this that could potentially be the future of Pokemon. That's not even including that we could, eventually be able to, one thing that Varsify said is able to craft our items, like something like we'll be able to craft a Pokeball or craft some potions, use the blender berry, the berry blender to make potions, stuff, craft our own Pokeballs using the apricorns and stuff like that. Venturing out, so we could be able to like craft our items and like get a soft vest early or something like that to help our Pokemon during the journey, and craft for those items, something like Minecraft and Zelda Breath of the Wild, where we be able to cut down trees, get some wood, and keep ourselves from freezing or something like that. Make the game more realistic type, where we get cold and we need to cut wood if we're freezing outside, and we burn the fire and make ourselves warm again. Or if we're hungry, we go buy some food and then we eat it or something like that. Or we catch a Magikarp and cook it. It wouldn't be the greatest looking thing, but it would be. Or we could go buy food from or we can go sit in a restaurant and eat, something like that. Or we can do something like battle to eat or something like that. So you can battle for stuff and like do like 100 battles and you get an assault vest. You can battle that way, or you can buy the assault vest by going around the region and battling people, and we can rebattle them, and then they can get stronger over time. Have like 4 levels where they do easy, easy to hard, and then they just get like certain levels, and then at the final level they'll be at level 100, and then it'll be like competitive almost. But in the battle facilities, you'll be able to just battle at that point, and then just however many battles you get to eat this type of food, or however many battles you do, you get this type of item. Or if you just want to battle around the region, you get money and just buy the item or buy food. Or if you want to craft your items, you can do that. Or if you want to fish or cook your food and just savage for yourself, then you can be able to do that. So that's another way. So I'll leave a link to Varsify's videos and a rough route video to show you their videos on them. That's all pretty much I can exclude, but crafting would not be a bad idea in Pokemon, or having graphics like Pokken Tournament or something like Crimson has showed off in his tests, or have a UI battle system like Raphael showed in his video showing a battle test. So, but take this image with a grain of salt. But I would love something like this, but I don't think they're going to go too far from the cartoony roots. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.